Hello everyone, Carol Garrison with Carol's Creative Escape. I'm excited to be here tonight to show you this very easy fun fold type card. It's one that I received in a card swap a while back and have wanted to duplicate, and I just never quite got around to it. So tonight that is the card that I will be featuring. I don't even really know what to call it. So I'm not even going to try to give it a name. It's not anything super fancy, but it is a quick, easy card to make. And let me show you a couple of examples that I made. Here I have got a spot on one of my cards, it looks like. Whoops. 2 birthday cards using the exact same layout. And they both just open up with an area to write. Simple birthday cards, kind of a masculine and a more feminine card. And then I also took that a step further and tried it using the cute penguin with the penguin Christmas paper. And again, inside so I can write a little note. And then I got a little fancy and made one that was just a little note card. This is using that gorgeous designer series specialty paper that's got the foil in copper, gold, and silver. And again, just a lighter color on the inside. So even with the exception of this one card, I tried to use colored cardstock on the inside because I can write on this just as easily as I can on the white. So these are the 4 cards that I made ahead of time. And then with fall coming just around the corner, I wanted to try to make a Thanksgiving card. And so this is what I came up with for that card. And this is one that I will show you how to make. It features the Gorgeous Leaves stamp set, and it's actually the Gorgeous Leaves bundle, and the stamp set is called Gorgeous Leaves, and the dies are the Intricate Leaves dies. So the stamp set comes with these images right here. So you get the leaves and then some good background ones and little tiny leaves here. And then the dies include cuts for these 3 stamped images, both the outline shape and then also kind of the skeleton shape. So you've got some versatility in these items as well. So that's the Gorgeous Leaves bundle. It's on page 47 of the July to December annual catalog. So let me go ahead and start by giving you the measurements for this particular card. I'm working with a piece of early espresso, and this cardstock is cut at 5.5 by 6 3/8. The first time I made this card, I had it a 1/2 inch longer than it was supposed to be. So it is 5.5 by 6 3/8, and you score it at 2 1/8. And so that leaves you with a standard card base of 4 1/4. So 5.5, 6 3/8, score at 2 1/8. And then you need 2 pieces that are cut at 3 3/4 by 5. And if you want, one of these is the inside, so you could cut it in white, or you can cut it in a color of cardstock that people can still write on and see the image. I'm choosing to use a little bit of color, so I've opted to do the crushed curry on the inside. I've got early espresso here, crushed curry. This is old olive. These 2 pieces are both 3 3/4 by 5. And then I am using some DSP that I actually created. And this piece is going to be 3.5 by 4 3/4. And to create this, all I did was take a piece of cardstock. This is just an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. I've cut some up. And I randomly started stamping the images from the Gorgeous Leaves stamp set. Did the maple in pumpkin pie, this in crushed curry, this in old olive, and then that 3-leaf set I did in Mary Merlot. And then to get the splatter, I didn't want the intensity of these pieces on here, and I actually didn't really want to risk ruining what I had already worked on. So I just took my watercolor brush and added some ink to the watercolor brush, and I'd squeeze it out onto the bristles, and then I would just do this over my finger to get it to splatter. And it gave me just the color that I was looking for. And there's a couple spots like right here where I caught an edge of my stamp. I didn't let that stop me because I figured one of 2 things. I can either cut around that, or I'll cover it with a bow or some kind of embellishment. And the beauty of creating my own designer paper this way is that I not only have designer paper that's unique and something I created, but I now have dies that will match up exactly with the images that I've cut out on my, created on my designer series paper. So that's where this sheet came about. So again, this is a 3.5 by 4 3/4. And then I also stamped the Happy Thanksgiving greeting, which came from the A Wish for Everything stamp set. And this is a 2-pack stamp set. And my original greetings, the Happy and Thanksgiving, came from the second part of this. And then I was going to use Giving Thanks for You with a Very Grateful Heart. I kind of thought that was a good Thanksgiving one, especially as we haven't been able to see a lot of people, and hoping that we can once again with this Thanksgiving coming up. And I haven't cut, obviously I haven't used these yet, and so I don't have it punched out. And you know how hard it is to find these sometimes? Boop, bloop, bloop. Well, that was something I guess I wasn't totally prepared for, but we'll find it. We'll be good to go here. Giving Thanks. This one. All right. I have used it. Oh gosh, if I had just flipped it over, look at you guys. Yep. All right. It's been that kind of day. No problem. So we're going to do this. And then I do need to just go grab one piece of ribbon real quick because I forgot to pre-cut that. I will be right back. Cutting off a random chunk because I know it'll work. This is the faux suede early espresso ribbon that's in the annual catalog. It's not really suede, but it's got a really nice feel to it, and I like how it ties, and I think it gives a nice accent as well to the card. So let's go ahead and get started making this. Of course, if you guys could see my desk right now, you'd laugh. It is so messy. Except hopefully what's in the camera range here. I don't want you to see my messy desk. All right, I'm going to slide that out of the way. So I'm just taking my bone folder and scoring along the crease line, or the score line. And then I'm going to start creating my layers. So I will, oops. I want to make sure I get my ribbon on correctly. So yep, it is going to be on my homemade designer series paper. You guys, you can do this with any of your stamp sets, making this designer series paper. It really is just a random. I watched somebody else do it, and she talked about a group of 3, kind of with the 3 different images. So if you're not comfortable just random, try doing things in groups of 3 and see how that works for you. But it can give you some really unique paper and kind of expand how you use your stamps too. I thought the leaves would be a good one for me to start with because this was my first attempt. So I'm putting my designer series paper on top of my old olive cardstock, and then I'm just going to wrap my early espresso ribbon around it, and I am just doing a knot. I'm not getting a fancy bow or anything like that. I just want to make sure I don't have any funny twists in my ribbon like I do right here. And I'm not too concerned about placement right now. I just want to get the knot tied because I'll be able to move it on my card. And so there I've got my knot, and trim off my edges. Okay. And now I can slide it because I want it a little bit more towards the top. And so what that allows me to do now is to adhere this piece. Now I almost screwed up. Do not put tape on this whole layer. That's our initial reaction to do that. This is going to be attached this way. So we only want to put adhesive right here. I can't tell you how many of these I've made, and I've had to do a little bit of erasing of the tape. Just using this tool. Stampin' Up used to sell these. They don't anymore, but you can get them other places. Very inexpensive, but it's a real handy tool to get adhesive off when you put it in the wrong spot. So now I just have it on this one side, and I straighten my ribbon back out just a little bit. And I'm just going to adhere it so that it's basically centered on this card as it's closed. And then I'll adhere it down. I always like to kind of go back on the back side and just rub it down so I'm sure it's covered. And then I do have my Happy Thanksgiving stamped already. And so I'm going to go ahead and just put it up on dimensionals. And before I do that, the one thing I didn't do as I'm thinking this through is I didn't die cut my leaves. And so we're going to pretend that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll put this here, and I will come back later and yeah, kind of a blah spot here. So that's where I'm going to put this greeting. I'll come back and finish this card, but with the leaves here, but I'll kind of walk you through that. You know, some days my brain doesn't work as well as I try to plan ahead. Anybody do that when you think, oh, I'm good to go, and then find out you've missed something? It's just the way it is. That's life. So I'm using Mary Merlot, and I'm going to stamp the greeting, give thanks for you with a very grateful heart. And that's a little crooked. Good thing I've got two sides to my cardstock, and I will fix that. There we go. I'm going to set that off to the side and close my ink. And then I want to show you how I attach this inside piece, because it's a little different than I would normally do. So I'm going to take my snail adhesive and just run it on the back of my card. And then what I do, oh, I have tape stuck on my fingers, is instead of just going right here, I want to make sure I have it lined up with my olive green piece so that I don't have any edges showing. So I actually put it with the inside of the card face down on the back of that olive green piece. So I've got it lined up, and then I close it that way. And then I can just open it up and quick give it a pressing. And that way the crushed curry is lined up exactly with the olive green, and it doesn't show up out of line or anything. So that is how you make this card. Again, it's very simple. Now with the actual card that I made, I did, like I said, use the I stamped and die cut 3 of these leaf images out, same ones that I stamped with here, and I just attached them to the back of the Happy Thanksgiving, and I used dimensionals to pop them up a little bit on my card. And then of course I used a little wink of Stella to make them sparkle. So hopefully you can see that on camera. So again, it's a very, very simple card to make, and just by changing up your paper or your greeting, you know, I've got just a little note card you could send to a friend. I've got a nice Happy Thanksgiving card. I was able to make a Christmas card using the exact same fold. And then I moved and made both a masculine and kind of a feminine version of a happy birthday card. So, very, very easy card. Measurements again are 5.5 by 6 3/8 for your card base. And that gets scored at 2 1/8. And then you need 2 pieces at 3 3/4 by 5. One of those could be basic white, or again, you can use a light colored cardstock for the inside of the card. And then the designer series paper, whether it's one of the gorgeous papers that we have with Stampin' Up, or you create your own. You need that at 3 1/2 by 4 3/4, and then you can decide how you're going to embellish. You know, here I did a banner and some gems. Here I just strictly used punch with a little ribbon. This is a combination of punches and dies. Popped up the scarf a little bit on dimensionals and the hat on dimensionals. You know, here's a combination of dies and stamps. This is a punch, and I did a little bit of embossing with the copper. But 5 very different cards, none of which take a great deal of time to make. So there you go. Quick tutorial on how to make this, I don't know, layered fun fold card. We can call it that. And hope that you have fun making this. I would love to hear comments if you like what you're seeing. If you know of anybody who might enjoy this layout, please be sure to share the video with them as well. And until next time, have a good week. Bye-bye.